years ago. I retired after 34 years of service as a math teacher in public schools of Rhode Island. Before I get into my remarks, I would like to explain to this gentleman that the reason the pension system was in trouble was because for many years the state and municipalities did not pay the actuarially required contribution that they were supposed to make, and instead of paying for their own sins, they expected those of us who were forced to participate in the pension fund to pay for them. In terms of how the whole pension fiasco has affected me, my husband died suddenly and left me sole support of 2 children aged 7 and 11 years old. I can't blame anyone for that. At the time, I was able to make ends meet because I was getting Social Security survivors benefits for the children and I was earning a salary as a teacher. But although I was fortunate to be in a system where I did pay into Social Security, that meant that 17% of my gross pay off the top was being put aside for Social Security, Medicare, and my 9.5% contribution to the state pension fund. I was fine. I was able to make ends meet. I was not able to put any monies aside for my children's education. So when it came time for them to go to college and they lost their Social Security requirement benefits at the same time, I had no money set aside. They took out student loans, I took out parent loans, I took out a home equity loan on my home in addition to the mortgage that I was already carrying. I borrowed on my life insurance, and during some months I had to charge some of my household expenses to credit cards because money was that tight. I was not able to access any of the funds that were in the employee system of Rhode Island because I couldn't touch them until I quit my job. I was not able to borrow against them. I was not able to minimize or diminish my contributions because I was legally required as a condition of my employment to pay my 9.5% from every single paycheck. So I retired in 2010 before I was ready to, thinking General Assembly's been messing around with the retirement. Pretty soon they're going to go after people who are already closer to retiring. I'm going to get out while the getting is good because once I retire, they won't be able to touch me. I was wrong. Lucky me, I was due for my first cost of living adjustment in January 2013, just when we stopped getting them. So I have never had a real cost of living adjustment. I got my 2 $500 stipends, and right now I am getting about $60.91 more in my monthly pension than I was before, when I first retired, okay? That's $60.91 gross before taxes. It doesn't even cover the increase in my property taxes since then, let alone my other expenses. And at the time that the reform, if you want to call it that, was being proposed, I calculated the average cost of living adjustment that Social Security had paid for the prior 19 years, because they were saying, they were predicting that we were going to be without a COLA for 19 years. And it came out to just under 3%. If I remember correctly, it was 2.6% for average. So I projected forward and thought, okay, 19 years from now, what will a $2011 be? And it came out to be worth about 60 cents. That's just for the 19th year. That didn't take into account the intervening years when every single year I would be losing purchasing power. So where do I stand now on this? I lose sleep at night worrying that I'm going to outlive my money. I'm afraid of what's coming down the pike. Just yesterday, there was an article in the New York Times about the number of elderly people who are declaring bankruptcy because the money that they set aside for their old age isn't enough to take care of them between inflation and the effects of a possible catastrophic illness. That's what keeps me awake at night. I thought I was going to be all set. I thought my pension was going to keep up with inflation, and I was going to be able to take care of myself in my old age and not have to depend on my kids. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen. And I wouldn't mind so much if, as a result of the 2011 law and the subsequent settlement agreement, if you want to call it that, if the pension fund were getting healthier. But we'd be better off if all of that money that Gina gave to her Wall Street buddies at 20% commissions for her hedge fund buddies, if she had just put that into a CD or the S&P 500, she could have just put it into an index fund, and we would have been better off than we are now. So that's my story. That's why I'm upset.